And I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. 4 hours. I can't what? We did it because Bevins was like, Bevins, the nice guy who was a comic book nerd and who had spent many nights crashed on my couch with my cat on his face was now like, do this line right or the puppy gets it kind of thing. Like, he was like, oh my God, this is scary, scary, scary stuff. But it was fun in a way. But when it was over, like 4 hours later, he was like, all right, out of the booth, monkey. That's his way of telling you you're done. I'm like, oh, sorry, thank you. And I'm confident that I had screwed it up and he would not leave me alone and I could go about my life and my horrible day job. He thrust a bunch of papers at me that I have to sign, which I thought were NDAs. My first mistake, I didn't read them very closely. And as I'm signing them, I said, hey, so here's a question. How do you people at Funimation get anything done if it takes you 4 hours to audition every single part? And he's like, it doesn't. It took 5 minutes. We've actually just recorded the first 6 episodes, and you just signed a contract. So screw you, you're an actor now. And we recorded the rest of that show on weekends when we could do that still back in the day, because Bevins was kind of that guy, and I have him to thank for my career. And then eventually I did it on the side long enough for a couple of years that finally other directors started using me up there. And I'm like, well, maybe I can do this. And then I got the offer to work as a director and a writer, and so I could be like, bye, crappy day job! And I haven't looked back, and it's been 10 years now, 10 years. This year is approximately 10 years. So that is how I became a voice actor. Don't follow my path. My path is not a good one to follow. Basically, ignore your calling for about 10 years. And then when you get your chance, say no. That worked for me. Next question. We'll go to this side. You, darling, with the glasses and the cat ears. Weirdest thing I've ever autographed.
Corset.
All right.
Corset.
Some of you may know this story. It's my own corset story.
Yep.
Well, not my corset. I don't own a corset anymore. So once upon a time, me and another voice actor who shall remain nameless, good friend of mine, we were doing a comic book shop signing, which we thought was really cool. It was kind of a local thing. They were like, hey, you guys want to come in? We knew the people that ran it. And they were kind of doing a grand reopening. We thought, no, we'll come in, we'll sign some stuff, we'll talk, we'll do some drinks with everyone afterwards, it'll be great. And they paid us in like comic books, which was awesome. So we did this, and then, I smoked at the time. I don't smoke anymore. It was not doing any favors for me, so I quit. But at the time I was a smoker, so after we were done with the signing, we stepped outside for some fresh cancer. And as we were sitting there just kind of talking about how cool the shop was and how neat everyone was, and it was kind of cool. You feel like for us, comic book nerds, like, wow, we have been asked by a comic book shop to come to a signing. We have arrived in my career. This entity just sort of emerges literally from the shadows down, this is like the back alley of this place, by the way, just literally emerges from the shadows, and it's like this 90-year-old woman. She may have been 20 and just had a really hard life. I don't know, but she looked 90, and she was dressed in this like corset. It's a really great corset, by the way. It was like handmade with all this cool stuff on it, but it wasn't flattering for a woman of her years. Let me just say. If she wants to wear it, more power to her, but I'm just kind of like, I don't really know what's happening right now. We're going to be solicited? What's happening? And she comes up and she has like this Virginia Slim, which are these really long, tiny things. They look like pixie sticks. And she's like, and I swear to God, she never exhaled. She was just eating the smoke. And she comes over and she has this voice and sounds like she's just gargled with razor blades and salt water all her life. And she's like, hello, boys. And I'm looking at my friend going, this is going to be interesting. And she goes on to explain that she's a big fan. And we're like, okay, cool. And she's like, I have this corset. I'd be delighted if the two of you could sign it. She pulls out a couple of Sharpies from her décolletage. Hands us the Sharpies. The thing is, the corset is black. The Sharpies are black. So our first thought is, well, it's not going to show up. So I go for my silver, which I usually keep in my back pocket, even on off days, because you never know. And then who's the one who's prepared? So she's like, no. I have a lot of signatures on this, but they're all in black because I'm the only one that knows they're there. And just sort of lets that hang there, like that. And we're both of us, well, we're certainly going to sign now because we don't want to be murdered. So we crouch down politely and begin to sign on either side of her. And she enjoys it a bit too much for my tastes. And here's the kicker, farts. As I'm signing this corset invisibly with my friend in the back alley of a comic book shop at midnight. By the way, nothing weird about this. She's just like, and doesn't own it, doesn't own it. Now, let me give you a little bit of wisdom here. We've all been in public and let one fly. It's human nature, you can't avoid it. If you haven't done it, you will one day, I promise you. If you're not fortunate enough to be a silent one, and you're with other people, say an elevator or an autograph line, the best thing to do is just be like, ha ha, I'm so sorry, and just let everyone laugh at it. If you just go, it's weird. Now everyone's like, what do we do? What do we do? What's protocol for this? Like, no one told me how to handle this moment. So we quickly rise to get away from ground zero and hand her back her Sharpies, which she then stuffs back down her corset and says, thank you, boys. Takes another drag from her Vivinia Slim that never resurfaces, and off she goes back into the night, and I never saw her again. That is the weirdest thing I have ever signed. I see you, long sleeve, like a little white collar. Yes, you just pointed to yourself. The most difficult voice I've ever had to do, probably Scar from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And not just because he's gravelly and very deep, and I have to push it and kind of make it sound like this a lot, but which can be difficult. But that was easier than I thought, because Mike McFarlane, the dubs director for both the original and Brotherhood, is a dear friend, and he's like, approached me about, hey, so Damian Clark can't reprise the role, so why don't you try it? And I'm like, because I was a huge fan of the original Full Metal, and it was in rap before I became a voice actor, so I didn't really get to be part of it. I did get to be like Soldier A or something in my very early days as a voice actor. I got to be Soldier A, like Conqueror of Shambhala. And that was a red letter day for me. I came home from the studio going, I got to be part of the Full Metal Alchemist franchise. Bow before me. And then, and then later, like 5-6 years later, Mike's like, so, do you want to play Scar? And I'm like, so it was kind of cool, but it was weird in the sense because as dub actors, we're already kind of taking the role up from someone who's already played it before. In Japanese, the same. Now, in that respect, my training as a theater actor helps a lot, because if you're on stage, you never get to originate a role. It's always been played by hundreds, if not thousands, of other people. So you're like, I'm just part of this continuum of actors that have touched the role in some way. And so that's how I approach it. But it's weird. We're like, oh, I'm actually replacing the English actor too. That's weird. Does that mean if I ever meet Damian Clark, he and I have to fight? I did meet him very recently, by the way. I got a chance to hang out and do some drinks with him. He's a delightful fellow, and I love him. We arm wrestled. He won. I let him, maybe. But true story, my first session as Scar, my very first line I will never forget, and it's actually recorded for posterity, and they keep it in Funimation and bring it out of the vaults every now and again just to humiliate me. My first line as Scar was, foolish alchemists who turn their backs on the ways of God shall be punished. And my first recording of it, because mind you, I'm getting to play Scar. So I go with another key. I'm trying to get my character. And Mike has spent the better part of 2 hours punching me in the throat so I can get the voice right. And I get up there, and it's my very first line, as recorded, goes like this. Foolish alchemists who turn their backs on the ways of God shall be punished. Followed by,